Hey, Strat Wrestler here. Can you see me okay? It's kind of dark in this room and I just got one light shining off the walls there, but hopefully that's enough. Coming at you with a lesson about double stop blues, or how to just play two notes for each chord and why that might be useful. And I'm playing through a different amp. This one's more of a Fender style amp. The other one I normally play through is more kind of like a little Marshall. This one's got a little more of a... Anyway, so playing a Strat here. And this is going to be kind of an intermediate lesson. What I mean by intermediate is you should, if I say go to the 5th fret and play your A chord, A7 chord there, you should be able to just hit that. And you should have some understanding of the concept of finding the 3rd of a chord or the 7th of a chord. And if you don't, then I cover that in a little bit of that in some of my lessons. There's all kinds of lessons about that, about the music theory. But I'll review a little bit and try to make it as simple as possible. So we are going to start at the 5th fret with an A7 chord. Now we're using the E shape, or the E7 shape, that's from the open E chord down here on this end. Looks like that, right? But we're moving it up and borrowing the 5th fret and playing it with these fingers. I got a funny little ring and buzz in this amp right now, not sure why. I'll have to figure that out. So, but we're going to talk about playing just 2 notes at a time over chords. In this case, focusing on the 3rd and the 7th, because the 3rd and the 7th are what identify the chord, really. The root and the 5th, not so much. Because the A chord here, you got your root, your A, your 5th, or your 3rd, your C sharp, your 5th, the E, your 7th, the G, and then back to your root. A. So if you're in a band and there's another guitar player, or maybe there's another guitar player and a keyboard player, if you all are playing like chords and you're playing 4, 5, 6 notes in them, it can get a little noisy and messy. Now there's some magic some producers can do in the studio by having multiple parts of the same thing and make a very thick layered sound, but usually if you're playing live, especially if you go to one of those, I call them the stupid loud jams, where you go out to a bar and they got these jams you sign up for and you get up, you don't know who you're going to get up with, and sometimes they put you up there and there's 3 guitar players and a keyboard player, and man, it gets noisy and loud. So you're trying to figure out, what can I play that's not just adding to the noise? Well, these little 2-note chords, or double stops, what some people will call playing just 2 notes at a time. Country players use that term. So you're just going to play the 3rd and the 7th of each chord in your simple little blues here. And in the case of this A7, you're going to play this 7th note, which is at the 5th fret on your D string. It's a G note. And then the 3rd is going to be on the 6th fret on your 3rd string, your G string, which is a C sharp. And together they sound like this. Okay? So, and then to get to the D chord, all you have to do to get to the 4 chord, the 4 dominant 7 in your blues, if that's the chords, is slide it down a half step. And then slide it back up when you go to the A. And then when you get to E, you slide it up again, half step. Then back down to that D. And back to the A7. And I'm going to play the bass note along with it so you can kind of hear that it does sound like these chords. So anyway, on your A chord, A7, D7, A7, D7, D7, A7, E7, D7, A7, D7, A7, E7. And you can do, and because, you know, the bass player and maybe the other guitar player and maybe the keyboard player are going to be covering those bass notes. The bass player is going to be playing the bass line. You don't have to play that bass, that bass. You don't have to play that fifth. You can come up with these nice little parts, and you can like just play these notes. Or you can just let them ring kind of separate, go. A7 chord down to the D. D7 chord. Slide back up to the A7. Now slide up to the E7. Down to the D7. A7, D7, A7, E7. And that's it. There's your double stop blues, playing just two notes from each chord, just to kind of make some space and maybe find a neat little part. There's other double stops all across the neck. You know, for the A chord, D, and I'm playing the double stop and then hitting the seventh too. But those 6 interval double stops, when you learn how to harmonize the major scale and go up and down the neck with them, it's kind of cool. Like in A, you go. I just kind of winging it there. Hit a couple of off notes, but that's what you can do just by harmonizing those scales, finding a couple of chord tones. In this case, you've got the root in the third, but it's also the fifth and the third of the relative minor. Root and fifth of A, but the fifth and third of F sharp minor. But that's another subject. Maybe we'll cover that some other time. Until then, get your guitar and go play some music.